take a problem for finding the method of, for finding the trend by the method of moving average for even period. So for even period there is no problem from the exercise. So we'll take a problem from the solved example. Let's take example 9.5. So the question is, calculate 4-yearly moving average of number of students studying in a higher secondary school in a particular city from the following data. So the year from 2001 to 2009 the data is given, and number of students in each year is also given. So we put the horizontal data given in the vertical direction first. That's the first step. So we put year and then from 2001 to 2009, and the data, the number of students in each year is also put vertically. Now here in the case of 4-yearly moving average, we saw already in the theory part, we have to take the first 4 because it's 4 by 4, 4-yearly moving average. So A, B, C and D. The first 4 values are taken and you have to add them. And where will it come actually, the total? It will be centered only here in the middle between 2002 and 2003 because there are 4 items. If there are odd number of items, it will be automatically centered, but because it is an even number being 4, so it will be between 2002 and 2003, that is between B and C, the second and the third item. So we open up a column which is 4-yearly centered moving total. So remember to write the heading correctly. It is 4-yearly centered moving total. So where will it be centered? Between the second and the third item. So 124 plus 120 plus 135 plus 140. When you add, it is 519. So it is between the second and the third item. So here between 2002 and 2003. So that's there. Next we find the total for the next 4 number of students data given. So B, C, D, E. So B plus C plus D plus E, which is 120 plus 135 plus 140 plus 145 comes to 540, which is again centered between the third and the fourth item. So it lies between 135 and 140, that is between 2003 and 2004. Similarly, it is continued. So the next is for the next 4 items. So C, D, E, F. So these 4 items are added. 135 plus 140 plus 145 plus 158, which comes to the middle in between 140 and 145. The total is 578 for these 4. So these 4 values when you add, it comes to 578. So it is between the D and the E value, that is between 2004 and 2005. 4 by 4 you are moving down. So next we go to D, E, F and G. So you will add 140 plus 145 plus 158 plus 162. So when you add these 4 values from 140 to 162, you get the total as 605. So that is between the E and the F item, that is between 2005 and 2006. Okay. Next we pass on to the next item, 4 items starting from E. So E, F, G, H. These 4 items are taken, that is 145 plus 158 plus 162 plus 170. When you add, you can check 8 plus 2, 10, 15. So 5 carry 1, 4 plus 1, 5 plus 5, 10, 16. And then 23 carry 2, 2 plus 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that is 635. So that is here. So between E, F, G, H, it is centered as between F and G. So it is between 2006 and 2007 here, which is 635. Next, the last 4 values, which is F, G, H and I, the last 4. So when you add 158 plus 162 plus 170 plus 175, the total comes to 665. So again it will be centered here between G and H. So it is between the 2007 year and 2008 year. Okay. So these are the items, the values in the column 4-yearly centered moving total. We have just found the total and we have centered it. But it does not come against the corresponding year. So once again we have to proceed further. We find the average first of all. For these 4 by 4 which we have added, we have found the total. Now we have to find the average. So you have to divide by 4 because 4 items you have added. So divide by 4. So find the 19 by 4 becomes 129.75. 540 divided by 4. So each item when you divide you get 135. So divided by 4, 578 by 4 is 144.5. You can check with your calculator. And then 605 divided by 5 also 151.25. 635 divided by 4 is 158.75 and 665 divided by 4 gives you 166.25. Again, these are all now averages, 4 yearly moving averages, because divided by 4 it gives you the average. And it is not against the year that we need. The trend values are needed for the corresponding years, but it is not here against the year. It is between 2002 and 2003, and then 2003 and 2004, between, all are between actually. So now I have to once again center them. So how will you center them? You have to again find the average of these two, that is 129.75 plus 135 you will add, and then the total to be divided by 2. So now when you add and divide, it will be centered. So between 2002 and 3 and 2003 and 4, now when you add and divide by 2, it will be against 2003. You understand? So 2 by 2 we have to take and find the average, which will be now the centered moving average. So 129.75 is only 135, they are all only the 4 period moving averages, but they are not against the year 2003 or 2004. So we have to center it by taking 2 by 2, add them, and because you are adding 2 values, you will divide by 2. If you add 4 values, you will divide by 4. So here you are adding 2 values, so you will divide by 2. So if you add 129.75 and 135 and then divide the total by 2, you get 132.38. Similarly, the next two, 135. Not the next two here, 144.50 and then 151.25. When you add, you add and divide by 2, you will get the 4 period moving average, centered moving average. So it is now these two, 135 point next to 135 and 144. When you add, you will get, when you divide by 2, you will get 139.75. Similarly, for the next two values, 144.50 and 151.25, when you add and then divide by 2, these two when you add and divide by 2, you will get 147.88, which is against the year 2005. Similarly, 155.25 and 158.25, these two you will add and then divide by 2. So when you add these two values and divide by 2, you get 155. And finally, for 158.75 and 166.25, when you add and then the total to be divided by 2. So you will get 162.50. So the 4 period centered moving average, or the trend values according to the 4 yearly moving average for this particular data will be nil for the year 2001, nil for the year 2002, and for the year 2003 it is 132.38. For the year 2004, it is 139.75. For the year 2005, it is 147.88. For the year 2006, it is 155. For the year 2007, it is 162.50. For 2008, it is nil. And for the year 2009, it is nil. So, I just sum up once again. So, first, the given horizontal data is put up in the vertical column. And then, year and number of students as the headings are given, you have to write. Then, the 4 yearly centered moving total. So 4 by 4 we take and we add, that's a total. So that's total alone is put here in this column. So it will be centered where? In between 2002 and 2003. So only between 2003 and 2004. So all the data are lying between the years. So 4 by 4 we take and we move down first 4 and then the second, third, fourth, fifth, and then the third, fourth, fifth, sixth. So likewise you will go up to the last item. Then the next column is to find the average. So when you find the average, how many numbers we have added? 4 items you have added. So divide each total by 4. So 519 by 4 will be 129.75. Similarly, each number 540 divided by 4. So these are all averages, 4 yearly moving average. This column is got by dividing this previous column total by 4. So you are getting the 4 yearly moving average. Now this is all the averages are not centered for the particular years, but it is in between. So in order to get the corresponding trend value for the corresponding year, we have to again center the averages. So what do you mean centering the averages? Take the values 2 by 2 and again add and divide by 2, because 2 by 2 we are taking. So we take the first two values 129.75 and 135, add and then divide by 2 to get 132.38. Then we take 135 and 144.5, add those two values and divide by 2. So that gives you 139.75. that is against 2004, the trend value for 2004. Similarly, 144.50 and 151.25 when you add, and the total is divided by 2 to get 147.88, which is for the year 2005. And then for 151.25 and 158.75 you add and divide by 2 to get 155, which is the trend value for the year 2006. And then the last two, 158.75 and 166.25, you add and then divide by 2 to center the moving average, which corresponds to the trend value for the year 2007. So these are the trend values. The trend value for 2001 is nil, 2002 is nil, for 2003 it is 132.38, for 2004 it is 139.75, for 2005 it is 147.88, for the year 2006 it is 155, for the year 2007 it is 162.50, for 2008 it is nil, 2009 also it is nil. So this is how you calculate for even number of periods. Okay, hope it is clear. Now the homework problem from exercise 9.1, the 14th problem, and also solved example 9.4. Both the problems are 3 yearly moving average, which is odd number, which will be automatically centered, so you can easily do that as homework.